Our main character Anne is living her best solitary life in a post-apocalyptic valley. It is giving cottagecore meets the end of the world, and honestly, she is managing the farm solo, which is a major flex. And just like that, a random guy in a full-on hazmat suit appears. He immediately dunks himself in the contaminated waterfall, which is a massive L. He clearly did not read the room or the radiation signs. Anne has to go into full rescue mode, yelling at the stranger to get out of the spicy water. The panic is real, and he is not making it easy. This is the most chaotic meet-cute ever. Now he is sick and vulnerable, asking for his clothes back. She introduces herself as Anne. He is John. The power dynamic has officially shifted, and he is completely at her mercy. Talk about a rough first impression. John is laid up, recovering from his major oopsie with the radioactive water. Anne is in full caregiver mode, which is super kind, but also highlights how utterly alone she has been this whole time. Anne says a prayer for John, and it is a whole vibe. She's basically telling God that this guy seems like a good person, and she would be so blessed if he could stay. She's really vibing with having company. They start to unpack why the valley survived. Anne credits the blessings of her family and faith, while John immediately starts thinking about scientific explanations like a natural buffer zone. Two very different worldviews just collided. Anne shares the heartbreaking story of how her family left to find other survivors, and how her little brother snuck off to find them. The grief is still living rent-free in her head, for sure. John is feeling better and cannot just watch Anne do all the farm work. He has main character energy and wants to contribute, but she knows he is not ready for manual labor. Their dynamic is getting kinda cute. The plot thickens when they realize the tractor is out of gas. Anne thinks they're stuck doing things the hard way, but John, the engineer, knows you can work the pumps manually. His brain is definitely working. After successfully getting gas, there's a moment of pure joy. Anne admits it was weird pointing a rifle at him, even unloaded. He hits back with, "Oh, I always keep it loaded." The tension is immaculate. Over dinner, John reveals his backstory. He is a research engineer who was a mile underground in a government bunker when everything went down. That explains the high-tech suit and his survival skills. The lore deepens. Anne gets a little too curious and asks about a photo she found, assuming it is his wife. He clarifies it was just a girl from a long time ago. The awkward silence is so loud, I am screaming. John gets real for a second, admitting that a place like her valley was exactly what he was looking for when he left the bunker. He never actually believed a safe haven like this could exist. It is a vulnerable moment. They are having a peaceful dinner of fresh fish, and Anne explains the local geography. The pond is fed by a clean underground aquifer, which is likely why the valley survived. Science and faith are starting to align. Anne reveals just how brutal the last winter was. She almost froze and starved, which puts a lot of pressure on them to prep for the future. The reality of their situation is setting in, and it is heavy. Hope arrives in the form of a broken generator. Anne thinks it is useless because she broke it watching a DVD just to hear people talk. No cap, that is the most relatable and saddest thing ever. John, with his big brain energy, realizes they can use the radioactive waterfall to power the generator. As long as the water flows downhill, they can have electricity. The flicker of hope is back on the menu. And here is the first major conflict. The only good source of wood to build the water wheel is the church Anne's dad built. John sees lumber, but Anne sees her entire family history and faith. John makes his case, framing the sacrifice of the church as a necessary step for rebuilding their lives. He suggests maybe God or her father put it there for this exact purpose, so they can start again. While plowing the fields, they share a laugh about her dad making her work until she could not see straight. It is a sweet, simple moment of them building a real connection and finding joy in the hard work. John gets absolutely wasted on scavenged liquor and starts acting out. He playfully teases Anne about her snack preferences, but there is a desperate, messy energy to it that is a little concerning. The vibes are off. His drunken frustration finally boils over, and he snaps that he does not need her help all the time. It is a moment of pure, raw ego from a man who is used to being in control and now is not. Things get super awkward after a romantic moment goes wrong. He tries to play the organ for her, but she leads. The miscommunication is painful, and they are both clearly struggling to navigate this new relationship dynamic. They try to clear the air, and John suggests they dance. It is a clumsy, sweet attempt to reconnect without words, trying to find their rhythm again after things got so weird. You just have to respect the effort. Seeing how upset she is, John offers to drop the water wheel project. But Anne, realizing what it means for their future, finally agrees to let him use the wood from the church. It is a huge step for her. Just when they find their footing, a new player enters the game. A man named Caleb shows up, another survivor. The relative peace of their two-person world is officially shattered, and the plot just got way thicker. Caleb explains he was a Mini who survived underground just like John. He seems polite and harmless, but his sudden appearance immediately changes the entire vibe of the valley. John is not buying it for a second. John's reaction to Caleb is pure suspicion. He might be okay with him camping for a few days, but he is definitely not happy about it. The territorial tension between the two men is immediately obvious to everyone. Later, John shares a deeply traumatic story about a sick boy he found in his wagon, whom he ultimately abandoned. It is a confession that reveals the brutal choices he had to make to survive out there. Not to be outdone, Caleb shares his own horror story from the mines, where his fellow survivors turned on each other. It's a battle of who has the most trauma, and it is deeply unsettling for Anne. John confronts Anne about inviting Caleb into the house, arguing that they know nothing about him. He feels she is being naive, while she thinks he is being cold. The first real fight about the new guy begins. Their argument reveals a huge gap in how they see the world. Anne feels John does not understand the crushing loneliness she endured, while he believes she cannot comprehend the horrors he faced. They are not on the same page. Anne opens up about how sick she was of being alone, and how John's arrival made her want to live again. She makes it clear that it was not just anyone. It was him specifically. It is a powerful, heartfelt confession. While showing Caleb the farm, the tension is palpable. Caleb and John engage in a low-key power struggle, with Caleb subtly challenging John's plans and knowledge. It is a total alpha male showdown, and Anne is caught in the middle. At dinner, Caleb expertly manipulates the conversation about the church, siding with rebuilding in a way that makes him sound more understanding than John. He is playing chess while John is playing checkers, and it's working. Caleb and Anne take a walk, and he connects with her on a spiritual level that John cannot. He tells her the church was only holy because of her faith, which is exactly what she needed to hear. A jealous and hurt John basically gives Anne his blessing to explore things with Caleb, telling her it is fine and they can be white people together. It is a passive-aggressive, self-destructive move that pushes her away. After a tense drinking game, things escalate. Fueled by alcohol and emotional turmoil, Anne ends up sleeping with Caleb. The love triangle just exploded, and there is no coming back from this without some serious fallout. The next morning, John and Caleb have a chilling conversation before heading to the waterfall. John admits that Caleb's arrival made him realize how special Anne is, but his tone is anything but friendly. The foreshadowing is heavy. John returns from the waterfall alone. He tells a heartbroken Anne that Caleb decided to leave for a supposed survivor community called Anson, taking the spare hazmat suit. His story feels a little too convenient. The film ends on a note of deep suspicion. Anne looks from John to the waterfall where Caleb disappeared, and you can see the trust is gone. They might get their electricity, but their relationship is completely fried.
Let's take